I sat down with Vancouver's new police chief just a few hours ago to hear what his priorities are and what he hopes to bring to the department. It's our big story tonight.
It's an honor to be selected to lead this agency. I think people can expect great things from us. We are always going to push to have this being a very safe city to live in so that people want to.
That was Chief Troy Price. He was sworn in early last month. He's worked in law enforcement for more than 30 years and joined Vancouver Police Department in 1997. Now, prior to that, he was a police officer in Chicago, and he also told me he spent time on the East Coast when he served in the U.S. Navy. He pledges to make Vancouver the safest urban city in the state of Washington, and his history in Vancouver, he says, will only help him. So I asked him what he wants to change.
We have a criminal justice system or ecosystem that that was probably great for 40 years ago. Probably not the best for our society, the needs of our society today.
Why is that?
Well, I look at how our jails are utilized now. And jails are mainly a place to warehouse people who are pending trial or who are doing time. And we've got to kind of change our thinking on that. And the jail should be a place where your time isn't idle. We're going to help you leave this place better than you were when you came in. And so that is looking at the educational opportunities that are there in terms of building skills that people don't necessarily have, that give them the opportunity to leave. And invariably, they're going to go back to the same place they came from, the same neighborhood, the same friends, but go back to those places different from who they were when they came to jail.
Staffing is also a major focus for him. The department needs about 80 more officers to be considered fully staffed. They currently have about 230, serving a population of 200,000. Now, he says the department is working on a funding package to get those numbers up, but time will tell. I also asked him about the role the department has when responding to issues relating to the homeless crisis.
I don't look at it as the police department's responsibility or goal to attack homelessness, but we want to connect people with the services that they need that will leave them in a position of not being homeless. And so we know that there's a lot of addiction. We know that people have a lot of mental health issues that are unaddressed.
A lot of times when homeless people see an officer walk up to them, they run away, right? They immediately put their guard up. So how do you navigate that?
That's hiring the great people. And so I think that's something we have excelled at, is being very intentional about the people that we hire. We want people who are compassionate and people who understand that no one truly wants to live the way we see some folks living out on the street.
So we also hit the streets of downtown Vancouver today to see what people there wanted to ask the new police chief. Then we brought those questions directly to him.
I'd want to ask what he's going to do to decrease the over-aggressive policing that happens.
Oh, we're always concerned when we have to use force. I mean, that's a legitimate concern. And if you just look at it on the surface, that doesn't do the incident justice, nor to the decedent. It doesn't do justice to them. We need to know everything we can about these situations and find out why did this happen, and is there anything that could have been done to prevent this.
I would ask him what he plans to do with the budget and how he's going to disperse funds throughout the department, and what he's going to do about the tent cities that keep growing in sizes, and just what he's going to do with resources for those sort of situations.
There's nothing in the police budget for the homeless crisis. In terms of the budget, the way we are currently budgeted, we simply don't have enough officers. And people go, well, what if you had more? What would you do differently? So I'd like to see the budget focused on us acquiring more officers to be out there on the road, not to just handle the 911 calls, but to also be able to have those contacts with the public that actually build the relationships.
Now, I also got a question today about drug decriminalization from a Vancouver local. That, of course, is not up to the police chief and would be a question for the Washington legislature. But back in 2023, Governor Jay Inslee signed a law to make possession or using hard drugs in public a gross misdemeanor offense, a higher penalty than what it previously was in place. Now, here's what the chief had to say about decriminalization, not directly pointing at Oregon's Measure 110 experiment, but it's easy to read between the lines here.
I think people have gotten a taste for what decriminalization looks like. I think when we look around the country, whenever you've seen decriminalization, you've seen an increase in crime. You've seen an increase of drug-related deaths. And so I think people are, we're going through that, we're going through that evolution ourselves of going, okay, that may not have been the best way to do this. And so what does this look like now? And I see that different departments around the state are trying to find ways around, not around the law, but trying to find ways to still deliver that service and to still help people make that connection, especially when they're in situations where they simply aren't going to decide great things for themselves.
All right, so what's going through your mind after my interview with the chief? We love getting a look at your thoughts. So email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.